All right,
I know
well,
I'm
it's
good.
6:30, so, and we've got lots of people here. Hi, Shannon and Norm. Glad you all joined in.
Hello. Good to see you
Kirk,
guys.
the ball's in your court. We can keep talking for a few minutes or we can get started. And you need to unmute yourself if you're going to talk.
There, I was typing.
I'll mute myself.
Okay, everybody, would you please stand for the flag salute, please? Joseph, you have a flag?
I have a flag available.
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joseph, would you?
Yes, let's bow our heads from prayer for a moment here. Loving God, thank you that we can meet tonight. Thank you for the technology. Thank you that all of us here tonight are healthy. And we do pray for those that we're connected to relationally, that you protect their health. And Lord, we also ask for those that are sick right now, that you would bring healing. Help us tonight to enjoy one another's company. Help us to learn how to improve our shops, our businesses, so that we can better bless our communities. We ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, Joseph's going to give a quick rundown on Zoom protocols.
Yeah, we're probably all getting pretty good at this now, but just as a reminder, please stay muted unless you're given the floor by the host. And if you keep your video on if you can. I know some people are on without the capability of video, but if you do have the capability, we appreciate you to keep it on. That's part of the joy of these kind of meetings, is we get to see each other. Mike, how do you want to deal with questions? Do you want people to use the chat, or do you want them to raise their hand? How would you like to do that?
Probably be best if I can see them, just have them raise their hand.
Okay. All right. And we're going to have everybody muted when you're speaking, but if I see them waving their hands and you don't see them, I'll mention it. Okay. All right. So keep yourselves muted until you're given the floor. And I guess that's it. I don't see any non-ASCCA members here. If there were, I'd ask you to enter your contact information in the chat. We will have the chat open. If you have questions for me or someone else, you can certainly enter that in the chat. But there we go. Kirk, back to you.
Okay, now we're going to go along and do self-introductions, starting with Gene. How you doing, Gene?
I'm doing great. Gene Morrill, certified auto specialist in Glendora, California, member since 1984.
Great. Craig.
Craig Johnson Automotive. I have a shop in Roland Heights, and tonight I'll be giving a NASTAF report.
Thank you, Craig. Ali, now that you're drinking. You're muted.
You got to unmute yourself, Ali.
All right. Ali from Olive Auto Center, California. I've been a member, I think, since the 14, if I don't make a mistake, 14 or 13.
Thank you, Ali. Paul?
Paul Bro from All Car Specialist in San Gabriel, and also adjunct teacher at East Los Angeles College.
Thank you, Paul. Salvador?
Salvador Diaz from Pasadena City College, instructor.
Thank you, Salvador. Nice having you here. Carlos?
Carlos with Omega Automotive in Northridge.
Thank you. DJ?
VJ from VJ's Auto Service in Arcadia, California. I think I've been a member since early 2000s.
Thank you. Mr. Randy.
Randy Lewis, world famous Jasper Engines, and I have been a member for 13 years.
Oh, Mark. Mark Goldsmith. Mark's
And internet problems at the house.
Huh? Oh. Okay, Mark's not talking, so we'll move on.
Looks
to
like
Tim.
Ali's got to put it on mute.
Ali, go on mute.
Mark, are you able to say anything? All right, just gotta love technology.
Mark's Goldsmith and Chatsworth. Shannon, how you doing, Shannon?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm Shannon Devery with Digital Financial Group. I'm your credit card processor. I've been with the ASCCA for, I think we're going on our 9th year. So I'm real excited about that. And I'll be visiting you guys, or most of you guys, to drop off your checks. Some of you have other arrangements with me instead of checks, but happy to be here tonight.
Hi,
Thank you,
Shannon.
Shannon. And our CPA, Mr. Norm.
Thanks. Norm Blyden, I'm a CPA and business broker. We do monthly financials, we do payroll and taxes. We do anything from startups to, at the top end, some of my clients do about 400 million a year in sales. For new members starting off, I'll be prepared to really give them a good deal to help them get going. So contact me if you need help in any area. Norm Blyden, CPA. Thanks.
Thank you, Norm. Take another bite, John, so I could call on you.
I'm there.
How you doing, John?
Good. John Smaldridge from Accurate Auto Works in Pasadena. Been a member for a couple months.
Thank you, John. And Johanna.
Me specifically?
Yeah, we're not talking to Tim tonight.
Oh, okay.
He has a lot talking on his report, so we're going to let you do the small talk.
I'm Johanna Reichert from Beamer PhD, and this is my lovely boy toy, Tim Shakarian. We have been with ASCCA for 5 years now.
Wow.
Thank you, Johanna. Tim, he's just been elected to on the chapter rep. He's a vice chair. Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you. I'm happy to serve.
Moving on, we have
Arabo from Arts Auto Care.
I was looking for a picture, but there it is.
Hi guys, sorry I'm driving.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Arabo Sarkisian, Arts Auto Care in Burbank. What has it been been a member probably for a year and a half. But I probably missed half those meetings, but trying to make an effort here.
Glad to have you.
We'll let you drive. Nathan.
Nate from the not quite famous Or Automotive, or world famous, I should say. Been a member for some time now, probably, what, 8-ish years or so, I'd guess. 9 years.
Something like that.
So.
Taylor.
My apologies. How you doing, everybody? I'm Taylor Mahongos. I'm a first-year student of Los Angeles Trade Technical College, and I'm an apprentice technician at G&M Automotive in Monrovia.
Thank you very much. Nice having you. Miss Wendy.
Wendy Luco, Pasadena City College. And Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
She's asking where your daughter is.
Haley. Esteban.
I'm Esteban Gonzalez with Pro Shop Automotive out in Colton. I belong to Chapter 14, and I've been a chapter member for about 2 years or so.
And do you hold any office or anything there in Chapter 14?
Yeah, I'm the vice president and the new president.
Welcome. We're glad that you're with us.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice showing. Having you, Robert.
We have two Roberts that this could be. Robert from G&M had RSVP'd.
Robert, who's not muted.
and not talking.
Okay.
I don't believe he has video or audio capabilities, but he
Okay.
is listening.
Okay, Joel Perez.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing? I'm Joel Perez with BG Products. I'm the rep for San Fernando Valley and San Gabriel Valley.
Well, nice having you. Who's that next one, Joseph?
Abe Trevira from BG.
Okay, Abe. I know who Abe is. How you doing, Abe? You're muted, so I guess you're not saying anything. And Malin, how you doing, Malin?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Malin Newton Educational Seminars Institute, 35-year ASCCA member. And remember, all of you get a free half hour of management consulting a month as part of your membership package. So thank you for having me.
And any of you who did team weekend the other weekend, Malin spoke for from 1:30 on, and nobody wanted to get off. It was a great, great time, Malin. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you for being there.
Okay,
We
moving
got one
on.
more. We've got a laptop 4 user. I'm not sure who that is.
Oh, and I guess I'm Kirk from Advanced Buffalo, been a member since '67.
Hello, this is Javier with Joe's Garage, also known as Laptop 4 User. I don't know why it does that. It's a computer.
One of our new members, Javier, welcome.
Ah, yes, one month member. Thank you.
Welcome. I'll come over there and fix
You
it
can
for you.
change his name, Joseph.
Oh, thank you.
And we just let someone else in, which is a very cryptic name, R.Recalde2331. So if you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself, we'd appreciate it. And any of you that have the capability of changing your name on your window there to either reflect your actual name or your shop, if it doesn't, we'd appreciate that.
If you're not sure how to do it, go to the video feed down at the bottom. There's a little arrow, click up. I'm sorry, the mute one, and it says change name.
I don't know about that.
Our Recaldes from All Car Specialist Service
I
Manager.
don't see it, but anyway. Craig, would you like to give your NSF report, please?
Yes, let me share my screen. So I'm going to give a NAS staff report. The National Automotive Service Task Force has been around since about the year 2000. And it's comprised of 15 members from all segments of the industry, parts people, tool manufacturers, shop owners, and this year is well rounded out and represents our industry well. In the past, one of the first things NAS staff did was it came out with service information requests, which was on the IETN. If you had an issue with a tool or service information, you filled out a service request form that went through NAS staff. NAS staff got a hold of the manufacturer, and hopefully it was resolved within a day. That was one of the first things that NAS staff came prominent for. A little later, when Mercedes came out with their theft-related parts saga, NAS staff got involved with handling key codes, and they developed it's called the SDRM, or Secure Data Release Model. And from that, the locksmiths and service professionals could get a vehicle service credentials. And that's what we have now. And how many on the call here have service credentials? About, I can't see the screen, but
Yeah, it's going to be hard to see everybody because of the.
Tonight, I'm going to kind of condense it. NAS staff is becoming better involved with all of our shops. They're going to be needed in the future. Out tonight, Thanksgiving, they launched a new site, and it's very important that all shops, technicians, students, sign on to NAS staff if you haven't already. It's a new site, and it's on the screen right now, and I'm going to scroll down. And for those of you that already have vehicle security credentials, when you log on here for the first time, you automatically get this. They combine the first time. For those of you that haven't joined NASTF, again, it's free. It's very important. And I'll show you when we log. I'm going to do a real quick thing here. You put your first name, last name, obviously. Now, a lot of people don't want to put their home address, but ASC is involved with this site. Let me stop and say that this site's now shared with the automakers because of the vehicle security credentials, with the FBI, with the National Crime Institute Bureau for theft of vehicles. And so, although you don't want to share your home address, they have it if you have vehicle security credentials. ASE, they use your home address anyway. And so later you might want to fill that in. But as you go down on the site, right here, these are service teams that a lot of us belong to. You can check all of them and then uncheck the ones you don't want to belong to. As you go head down, you identify what part of the industry you're in. A lot of you are in more than one. You can check them all and uncheck as you go. And then it goes on to light duty manufacturer, cars you work on. It goes over to heavy duty down here. You know, you can check them all and then just uncheck the ones you don't. And then at the bottom, you pick how NASTF wants to communicate with you. The reason it's so important to fill out all this is when there's a gap in security information, if our website goes down, you'll get a text or an email, however you chose, with that manufacturer. Volvo Vita recently went down. Donnie Cipher, our executive director, sent a message out. The Toyota site went down a couple weekends ago for maintenance. So this site is going to be very robust soon. It's going to be connected to a major service information provider. So in the future, if you have a problem with a vehicle, you can't get service information, you can't get tooling, on that site, on the main site, once you're on it, once you log in, you can fill out a D1 and it goes straight to the manufacturer, a service information request. The manufacturer will get informed of that and it'll be resolved. The National Crime Institute Bureau, they monitor this because when you go into this site to get your credentials and then a key code, if a car becomes missing, this is one of the sites they monitor. So, and it's going to come to the point with because everything's security related right now, you need to get your vehicle security license. Let me scroll down and show you that on the right here, there's a tutorial of what you can apply for it right here. And once you get on the site, once you get on the free site, Donnie's got probably 50 or 60 YouTube videos on how to log on to every manufacturer's website, how to hook up a J2534 to just about anybody. A few manufacturers aren't being cooperative, but this site's really building well. And again, it's free. Please, everybody sign up. Once you sign up, you'll get notified by any manufacturer or us if there's a problem. You go on a real quick example. You go on the Toyota site and you can't get a certain piece of information, and that piece of information's gone because the manufacturer admitted it and they didn't know it. And so if nobody says anything, nothing gets fixed. So the reason we put everything on one site is it's going to be very seamless, and it'll be soon where you're going to have this up just like you have your IATM, the diagnostic network, all data up. Your NASTF site will be up. And the last thing I want to say is when you have your vehicle security credentials, everything's going to be online. Your D1 forms, you can fill everything out. You don't have to send anything. And right on, when you're on your vehicle security website, if there's any problems, there's an 800 number and they answer it right away. So in the past, there was some lag time with that. So on a later date, I want to go into the SDRM site and show you there's some very, very neat tools to help our business. I mean, there's going to be some tools where you want to go on this site first before you log on to a car if you got to do flashing. I just want to say that many vehicles now require your vehicle security credential when you log on and you do any kind of work, a Ford PAT system. And I'm on another committee for SAE that I'll give on a report later, but that's the Data Link Security Committee. And they're just about finalizing the point where to get into the data link connector, you're going to need vehicle security credentials just to log in so they know who's on the network, who's going behind the modules and getting into the information. So I think that's all I have. I wanted to keep it really quick. And just tonight, I'd like everybody to, Joseph sent out a link earlier how to do it. Maybe after the meeting tonight, he can send one out again and just join right here. If you're already a member, you need to go on here the first time and sign on, and it'll from this point on you'll need credentials to sign on. You can't get on like you did before for free because they only want members on this. Thank you. Or does anybody have any questions?
Craig, I got a question.
Sure.
I wasn't really clear on, I had joined before. What do I need to do if I've already joined on the old website again? Can you walk me through that just real quick?
Sure. So first of all, do you have vehicle security credentials?
Yes.
You do. So when you log on right here the first time, you're going to also need Authy on your phone. Authy's a third-party identifier. It generates a code. So have that on your phone. You're going to log on with your email, your password. Authy is going to come up. You're going to put in the Authy code, and then SDRM dashboards is going to come up, and the first time you come on, both sites will be combined for you. And from that point on, all you have to do is sign up right here. Everything on the NASTAF site is going to be on that sign in right there. The ones that don't have vehicle security credentials will log in right there. But everybody, even if you currently have a free subscription, needs to sign up because it's going to ask you for a password to get on in the future.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Johnson. Seeing as how I'm new to this organization and whatnot, do I need to sign up, or do I have to do it through an account through my current apprenticeship at GNN?
No, you can sign up. You can sign up on your own on the left there. And there's a spot there at the beginning that identified you as a student. And
all right, okay.
You just sign up and you'll get right in. You'll get all the information, website updates that are down, new tools out from manufacturers. You'll get all that information like everybody else does.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Craig. Moving on, we have Gene. Would you like to give a government affairs report?
Sure, and welcome everybody. It's great to see this many people on our meeting. Another reason NASTAF is super important is they do legislative committee work for us. And when everybody joins, it's impressive to have 100,000 members pushing for legislation versus 10,000. So even if you never use the site, join it just so we have the numbers and the horsepower in the legislature. The legislature hasn't been doing a whole bunch. They've been trying to get a stimulus package hammered out. I'm sure you've heard it in the news. Great news is thanks to you and many other folks, Prop 15 did not pass. That was the repeal of Prop 13 for business. Hooray for us. We did a great job. They had a ton of money. We didn't. It was a good thing for all of us. And thank you for those that actually got involved and wrote letters and spoke up. So our team weekend, we had our government affairs meeting, and it was mostly on the Bureau of Auto Repair meeting. That was recently. Dave Kusa and Jack Molodonoff are our two representatives. BAR and the Department of Consumer Affairs is pushing really hard to have some kind of reprimand or a fine process for shops that are doing things wrong. We're we're talking back and forth, trying to figure out what that looks like. We're trying to get a traffic school type of system in place. So if you get a ding on your record, then you go to a class or some type of traffic school, for lack of a better term, to get that erased off of your record. BAR does have, it's kind of cool, they have a new site that tells you if a shop's been denied, has pending legislation or something against them. There's a shop right down the street from us. When I looked, it's a tire shop that right on the site, it says, these guys are having issues and there's a pending issue with them. Assemblyman Evan Lowe is working really hard with us. He's the guy that wanted to grade us A, B, C, D like the restaurants. And we've kind of, Jack Molodonoff and our group has kind of got him settled down on that. And we're going to go some different ways. He still wants a way for the consumer to go online and see a rating system for shops. So that's yet to be determined. Smog check, the CAP program. A lot of you aren't on CAP, but I am. They've raised the CAP money to $900 to $1,200. So we've been using some of that up. So that's very helpful for folks on low income that need some help with their smog check. Skipping over a lot of things. With that, I'll just end it because there isn't a lot going on, and I know we want to get the Mikey B on here. Taking off that half, I'm also a board member of the Automotive Service Council Education Foundation. Last year, we gave away $18,000 in scholarships to 33 students within Citrus College, Rio Hondo, Pasadena, and San Diego area. So it was very successful. They streamlined the CARS donation program. I know there was some problems. So if you got cars laying around, please get them donated so we can get the money into the scholarship program. One of our board members, Dick Deloche, has passed. He was a longtime board member of the foundation and a writer for the local magazine. So he will be a great loss to our organization. We're sad that, he passed away. And they are looking for 2 more board members, at least, for the Education Foundation. It's about a 4-time-a-year commitment. It's not a big thing. So if you want to dip your beak into the organization and not have a lot of time out of pocket, maybe some of you educators could jump in and John Epstein, however he says his name anymore, is he's the one to contact, or you can contact me and I'll forward it on. So with that, I don't think, I don't have an agenda, Joseph. That was it, right? You don't have me for anything else? You're muted. You're muted, Joseph.
I'm trying to find the right button to push, unless there's anything about seminars that you want to say. I know that you're working on something.
This is, if COVID loosens up, the reason Mikey B's on is to try and whet your appetite, because we're going to do a Saturday seminar with Mikey B. We were hoping in the middle of January, but seeing how things are going wacky, we don't know that for sure. So it may be a last minute, watch your emails. It's going to be free to our chapter members. So we're trying to, help you guys out and it'll be on service advising and owners, and Mikey will give you a little taste of what's in store. Probably be like a 9 to 2 with lunch. So look for that. And if we can't do that, then we're going to have to work it out for some other time. But Mikey does a fantastic job with the classes. So thank you very much. And it's great to see all of you.
Thank you, Gene. We appreciate it. Malin, if you could go real quick, could you tell us about the scholarship?
Oh, okay. We decided at Team Weekend to start a scholarship in Dick Deloach's name. And just at Team Weekend, we raised over $3,000 just by the people who attended. So if you'd like to contribute to help memorialize Dick's contribution to the Educational Foundation, because he was on the board of directors, but also his legacy in the industry, write a check make it out to ASCCA5 and send it to the office in Sacramento. And we're going to try to fund that so we can give scholarship away in his name. So I would appreciate you contributing. Also, today is the day of giving. So there's been a couple posts on Facebook from ASCCA where you can donate also. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Malin. And Tim, would you like to give a chapter's rep report?
Yes, welcome everyone. It is awesome to see so many people that have attended, so many new faces, and those of you that are consistently coming back, thanks. We appreciate the support. This is what we really want to grow the association with this strength of numbers. So those of you that joined us for Team Weekend, it was really good. It's a lot easier now with Zoom because you don't have to travel and get an airplane and all that stuff. You just kind of get on, bring your yellow notepad and start scratching away. So I took some real brief notes. I will go over them fairly quickly here. We've got Cintas did a event where they said now we're having, not now, but they've had special pricing for ASCCA members. If you don't have Cintas as your service, then you should find out the benefits that there are from being an ASCCA member. And if you look behind me a little bit over Johanna's shoulder right there, there's a very important part that you need in your business. It is called a first aid kit. First aid kit, guys. You can get them from Cintas. They are part of the safety information that you should have. There's a wealth of information on the Cintas website. If we had a little bit more time, I'd go into it, but take a moment, go to their website, talk to your rep, tell them that you are an ASCCA member, and ask them what benefits there are. How do you compare the two so you can see the benefits? Armstrong and Associates Insurance, Glenn Daly gave a very good presentation on the new laws that are coming out for 2021. What's happening with COVID-19. If you or your employees get COVID-19, you need to report it, even if you've gotten sick and gotten over it. So if you need a little bit more information, contact myself or Joseph. We will get you that information transferred on over. HR, those of you that need HR information, HR 360, they have total answers for all of your HR questions. This is what they talked about. These are supporters of our association. So if we're not using these folks, we're not really taking advantage of all the benefits ASCCA has. John Epstein talked about how important it was for the Educational Foundation for cars to be donated. Even if they're not laying around, if your customer is like, well, I don't know what to do with this car, encourage them to donate the vehicle, because that not only benefits the association, but it also benefits students that are trying to get scholarships into getting into this field. And right now, that's what we have a shortage of. People interested in getting into this field, young people. So the ASCF is very important for the future of our industry. Carolyn Collette from the Connective Car Committee was looking for members to join the committee. Ones, they really want to grow the committee as far as advanced ADAS and sensors. So if your shop is into that, I know Abraham wished he was able to make it. He said he wasn't able to make it today. I know he's one of the shops in our chapter that does ADAS calibrations. Carlos, I know you were looking into that as well. If there are other shops that you know of, please let me know so we can get them involved with that. Luke Murray was talking about from the ETI committee, which is the Professional Automotive Virtual Training Education, as a new program that's coming out, some training that will benefit us. There's more information on the website. I wish I can go on a little bit more about it, but due to the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and let everyone know that we're always looking for people to join our industry. Today, doing my calls, I had one of the folks say, how do I find techs? Get involved, go to the colleges. And the educators will tell you, those that are, I have 2 students from PCC that are outstanding team members of our team, and they love being here. They love having the processes and procedures. If you get involved, you will see dividends. If you have any questions in regards to that, you can contact Wendy, you can contact Sal, you can contact any of our educators. Paul, I know he's really involved as well. So that's condensed in a nutshell what we have as far as Team Weekend was. If you haven't done so, please take a moment, go to ASCE, well, I'm getting all confused. ASCEA, the website itself. It talks about the calendar and all the free training and programs that are coming up. They're online, they're free. We would be paying big money and taking time out of our days and our schedules to fly and see these programs. They're available online. If you get involved, you'll be able to get a little bit more information, what benefits you, and what we're trying to do for programs coming up next month. So that's my report for Chapter Rep. As far as programs, next month we have Jen from Rockstar Marketing coming to visit us. It would be great if we can take the opportunity to go to, I don't really have Jen's website at the moment, but I will put that up in the chat coming up. She's got a new book out this month. It's super interesting. It's about the experiences that we have, how much we give into this association or into our industry, and how much we benefit from it. Those that do really see the benefits of it. I know Johanna and I have really enjoyed getting involved. Jean is very involved. If you take the time, I guarantee you it'll pay you back. So February, we're going to be working with, so just to recap, on January, we're going to be talking about marketing, what you can do to start off 2021. If you've been successful in 2020, awesome. If you haven't, this is the opportunity where we can learn from Jen what we can do as far as social media marketing and the things that she offers to our members. February, we're going to be working on our accountability partners, setting expectations, job descriptions between technician, advisor, good communication. I know Mikey's going to touch upon that. So stay tuned. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Make sure that if there is a shop that is interested in the advancements of your shop and the benefits that you've had, why not welcome them to the meetings? They're free. They don't have to do anything but click a few buttons, and you're going to learn a wealth of information if you get involved. So appreciate everybody for coming out. At this point, we want to turn our meeting on over to Mikey Bowers from BG. He's going to talk to you about moving the couch. Mike, thanks for taking the time to come and visit us. You're currently in a hotel from South Dakota, you said?
North Dakota, and it's freezing.
Well, we're thinking of you in California. Come back home safe to Monrovia, but the floor is up to you, my friend.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Motorsport, I want to thank you folks, and I want to thank everybody for allowing me some time to come on, and my VG brothers, Abe Shavera and Joe Perez. We're just so thankful to be part of the ASCCA chapter. Now you got me doing it. I can't spit it out. You know, it's really important. I travel 42 weeks out of the year, spreading the word about preventive maintenance and doing things honorably and ethically. And, you know, one of the things, and I don't know why I'm just noticing it, I was really touched that you folks opened up with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. All of us at BG, we do that at every meeting, every zone meeting, every distributor meeting, every convention. And I just wanted to take my hats off for you folks doing that. You know, I think as a society, we've really walked away from that, and we've strayed away. We need to get back to that, and we need to focus on that. And the chapter, everywhere I go, I always talk to new independent business shops. I just did an evening seminar with this family-owned operated store here in Bismarck, and have really encouraged these people to really get a hold of the local chapters, because it's a fellowship, it's a mentorship, and the support that you give each other and the information is just unfathomable. So whenever I'm giving seminars to independent shop owners, I tell them right away, if you want to grow your business, you got to get involved with your other brothers and sisters in the industry. You know, why try and make a new path when they've already made it and you can guide each other? So major hats off. So I wanted to thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's just get right into it. Host disabled, share screening. Okay. Let's see if we can share this. Sorry, I usually do WebEx and all that other beautiful stuff. Here we go.
I just reestablished you as a co-host, so you should see a share screen at the bottom of your screen
There
there.
we go. Beautiful. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. All right, everybody good? Can you see my screen? All right. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take myself off because with these beautiful looks, I can be incredibly distracting, and I'd rather focus on focus on that PowerPoint. There we go. Okay, so here we go. I don't know about you folks, but this has been one unbelievable year. I think I agree for all of us. Kind of excited to see 2020 go, and hopefully we can come in with a much more positive new year, 2021. You know, we just got to say prayers. A lot of people hurting out there. I see it everywhere I go. Their attitudes, depression. Everybody walk into people that have been sick. You know, we're all in this together. And so we, more so than ever, is a time for prayer and really come together and be strong for each other and help each other out. And I mentioned this tonight with a couple of seminars. You know, I mentioned about who's the competition. And of course, everybody will say, well, it's the guy down the street. Oh, it's the independent. Oh, it's that dealership. You know, the answer is simple. Quite frankly, I think the answer is we are our own competition. A lot of times we have a habit of getting in our own way, or maybe we're just stuck in those habits. Well, I can't think of a better time to change some things. You know, everybody goes into that New Year's with a New Year's resolution. Oh, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to quit swearing. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to get to the gym. Well, how about we just look at our businesses differently? I know we always have great ambitions going into the new year, but with everything that's been going on, COVID, I always try to look at the glass as being half full and not half empty. And I don't think that COVID was such a negative thing. Yes, there were negative sides to it, but it really forced us to do things differently. And Dr. Motorsport, you said it beautifully. You know, we're not getting on the plane. We're doing things. Look what we're doing tonight. We're getting involved. We see each other. And I love the fact that everybody keeps their video on so we can see each other's faces. And this is the way we're communicating. But it's really forced us to deal with our customers in a completely different way. You know, it's forced us to maybe some places now are picking up their customers' cars. Some of them are delivering their customers' cars. It's really forced us to get out of some habits and maybe into some new ones. So I say goodbye with 2020 and I say hello to 2021. All right, so let's move the couch. Now, what I mean is, again, getting out of our bad habits. Now, maybe that couch, you loved it sitting in that corner for the last 10, 15 years. There's nothing wrong with it. It is not broken. And let me stress, it is not broken. Some of your processes, if you have processes, they're not broken. But might we want to look at them differently? Might we want to switch them up? And again, that's kind of what COVID has forced us to do. So I say, let's move the couch. It's not broken. Let's switch it up. Let's try something different. Let's just go to the extreme. And you know what? If it doesn't work, try something different. At least moving that couch is going to get you thinking. It's going to get you motivated. Now, you may find that if you do change it and it doesn't work, you may find a better way. But had you never moved it in the first place, you would have never discovered that. Or better yet, maybe you might discover that what you're doing is not broken. So you might end up going back to what you originally did. The idea is throw it out there. It's a no-brainer. Nobody gets hurt. Nothing bad happens. But if it doesn't work, you can always go back to what you're doing. But you're never going to move forward if you don't try different things. You know, it's a gutsy move, but you can do it. I think we all know that ethics plays a very important part of this. And I deal with it, my advisors, every day. And I see them, struggling just to survive the job. Our advisors and, those of us on the forefront dealing with customers is not an easy task, especially with what's going on. People have been out of work for a long, long time. And the problem with that is, obviously, they don't have that kind of money to be able to take care of the car. Now, having said that, I've been discovering a couple of things. One of the things I discovered is, yeah, the first 2 months were horrid. But then I've talked to some shops and they're like, Matt, Gene, I think it was you that I talked to. You said all of a sudden customers are coming back and they're saying, you know what? Now that I have the time, I'm able to bring my car in and take care of some of those things that you've been recommending. And that proves a point, something I've been talking about. And VJ, you've heard me say this forever. Price is never the number one issue. It's time. Time is the number one reasons customers will not buy. Well, this has forced all of us to slow down. But on another point, I've been hearing advisors, and I actually heard this out of an advisor's mouth, saying to his technician, dude, he can't afford that. The guy got laid off. He doesn't have any money. Well, gentlemen, those of you that know me, I'm a pretty passionate guy. Well, I clasped my hands from backslapping or jack slapping that advisor, because that was the worst thing that advisors can think of. Now, the reason is this. VJ knows my older son, Jeremy. Jeremy served in the Army when the poop was hitting the fan. He did over 6.5 years, did 3 tours, had RPG shot him, ran over landmines, took a bullet right in his chest plate. He's a survivor. Well, he was a casualty of COVID, lost his job, has an apartment in Long Beach, and he's struggling, but I worry about him because of PTSD. But he said, Dad, I survived a war. I can survive this. And I said, you okay? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm out looking for jobs. So he gets a job with Postmates. Well, the issue is Jeremy doesn't know anything about a car. So I really thank VJ for taking care of him and educating him and instructing him when I'm not there. But I asked this advisor, suppose this was my son that came in and he's relying on you to take care of his car. Now, he's got to get to a job interview. But because you said, or you figured that my son couldn't afford it because he's out of work, so you didn't tell him. Now he gets that call to go on a job interview and the car breaks down on the way to the interview. So what's the real casualty here? The casualty is because of that advisor putting his head in my son's wallet. My son now didn't get the job because he couldn't make it to the interview. So we got to be really careful with our advisors out there, especially in this time. If anything, our customers need us to be extremely thorough about their cars, because that is their main source of transportation to hopefully get to that job interview or maybe keep that job. So it's very vital. Now, the other side of the ethics is this. I think we all agree, because we're in the same family, that, and excuse my hoarseness, I've been talking straight for 2 days, but we all can agree that overselling is completely unethical. Now, I can see some faces. Can I get a shake of the head in agreement that gouging and slamming is completely, yeah, let me get an amen, Dr. Motorsport. Woohoo! Amen. We all know that, because every one of my customers is my family member. It is my wife. It is my sons. It is my daughter-in-law, my granny, grandpa, aunt or uncle, brother and sister, cousins, best friends. I would never do that to family, and I know you wouldn't. But I want you to stop and think about something. If we all agree that overselling is completely unethical, then I think you'll agree with me that underperforming maintenance or underselling is just as unethical. Can I get an amen to that one? But yet we see this every day. And I know you all see it. we hear it. And if you don't hear it, you can sense it. Maybe it's either that disconnect between the advisors and the techs, or the techs and the advisors, but we really need to educate our advisors. And that's why I'm really looking forward to January, because we need to get this in front of our people, that we got to find that happy medium. And I have the tools that's going to help with that, but I'm not going to go through that tonight, because that's going to be the teaser for January. That's what's going to get you there. But I will go through a couple of things. Now, a lot of these advisors probably felt the way I did. As a young advisor, and I'm not a technician, I can do basic stuff, but Gene, you don't want me in your shop overhauling a transmission. It's going to be ugly as sin, okay? There's going to be extra pieces, which, you know, the factory always gives you extra pieces. Don't worry about it. But I was confused because management always wanted me to keep sell. And the techs, come on, sell, man. You got to sell the flushes. Well, I'm a pretty smart guy, but I figured the car manufacturer and the engineers built the car, and they told me that these cars don't need these things. So I'm really leaning to listening to them. So I ended up drinking the OE Kool-Aid. But later on in my career, from an advisor to a service manager and then a fixed operations director, I really started seeing the wolf dressed in sheep's clothing. The car manufacturer is in business to do two things: sell cars, sell parts. So the OE and the salesperson is always selling low cost of ownership. Now, obviously they're building a better car. There's no question about it. But here's my issue. The OEs did not manufacture those fluids. And that's where we at BG come in, because we understand that. But I get a lot of technicians and shops and advisors that think if they don't put that Toyota fluid in that transmission, that the wrath of God is going to come down and strike them dead. It's not. It is another source of revenue for the OEs. So my independents, you're a much smaller entity. You don't have the big parts departments that the dealerships have. So you got to be very careful on your inventory levels, okay? Find ways that you can streamline it. You don't need 20 million OEs of tranny fluid or oil. You can streamline that, and you're not going to get in trouble with the OE. We all know about the Magnuson-Moss Act, okay? You're not going to get in trouble with that. But the OEs will put the fear of God into everybody, including our dealers, that if they don't use the OE fluids, that customer's warranty is going to be voided. That couldn't be any further from the truth. And I'm not going to get into that because, you know, that's not what we're here to do. But, and I'll touch on this later, but if you don't have that, the Federal Trades Commission Bill of Rights about the customer's rights called the Warranty Repair Act, you need to get that. You need to print it. You need to frame it. It needs to go right in your waiting lounge. That is your customer's Bill of Rights. Because what the customer's head is being filled with by the dealer is nothing more than a scare tactic. You got to realize the independent is even more the enemy to the dealership today than it ever has had before. And I'm going to get into that. So yeah, we need to stop that because there is opportunity for all of us. So enough of the scare tactics. But anyway, so that was usually, now I'm going to believe that that's the way my customers felt. Now I want to show you a stat, and I'm not a stat guy, but this one blew me away. Now, this was a study done in 2016. And what they did was they randomly stopped cars on the freeway. And they did just a general multi-point safety inspection. And they had found that all the cars they stopped, 84% had failed a basic multi-point safety inspection. 84%. Out of that 84%, 80% were out of any type of factory warranty. Now, when they were asked if they had recommended that service to you, would you have purchased? 47% said yes. Now, this is an outside source. This number blew me away. Now, when Mikey B started in 1999 with BG products, we knew back then that over $72 billion in preventive maintenance was left on the table. That means nobody touched it. The dealers didn't touch it. Independents didn't touch it. Specialty shops didn't touch it. And I wonder what it was today. Well, gentlemen, check this out. Over $232 billion in legitimate preventive maintenance has been left on that table. 13% of that would go to the dealership. Okay, you guys sitting down, happy birthday. 87% are going to be taking their cars to the independent. Now, we all know that in statistics, numbers are not exact, but I will take that in a heartbeat any day, because I always get service managers and BG guys and independent shops thinking, what does our future look like? Folks, I couldn't be more excited because it's there. But if we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we're getting, which goes back, we got to move couches. We need to install processes. But gentlemen, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I was pretty successful as a fixed operations director because I'm a very process-driven person. If my head is constantly slamming up against the wall, I get smart after about the 2 or 3 hits of the black and blue marks, and I go, okay, there's got to be a better way of doing this. So I figured some things out, and I put these processes in place. However, and let me say this very strongly, however, if there is no accountability and there is no consistency, then I don't care what process you attempt to put in place, it is going to fail miserably. Can I get a thumbs up? So we'll talk about processes in January, and then we're going to talk about consistency, and then we're going to talk about holding our people accountable, but not just our people. We need to hold ourselves accountable because, folks, it starts right with us. Can't hold somebody else accountable if we're not going to do it. What about leases? All right. How does that concern you guys? Oh, wait till you hear this one. There was a study a year and a half ago. Penske, AutoNation, and the Asbury Group, the 3 top automobile companies in the United States. They forecasted that over 9.5 million lease returns are going to come back into the market by the second owner. Let me repeat this. Over 9.5 million lease returns are going to be purchased by the second owner coming back into the market. My question is this: how much maintenance was done on that lease customer when they were going to the dealer? Dr. Motorsport, you are dead on, man. Beep, 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 you win the prize. Absolutely right. Because sales and everybody has filled their brain and trained that lease customer that all you have to do for the next 3 to 3.5 years are oil changes and rotates. So that means this vehicle now has 36,000 miles and there has been squat done to this. So at this point, I always ask my advisors, and I ask everybody in a class, at this point, what should have been done? And you know what? Tonight was no different. You know what I got? Balances. I heard crickets. I heard crickets. You know why? Because we've all gotten away from this. I remember when I started, I could name all those off in a Minnesota second. Today, because everybody's reactive instead of proactive, nobody can tell me, and they struggle. And I've got to give them hints about what services, and I'm not just talking BG, I'm talking all preventive maintenance by 36,000 miles, what by now should have been done. And the reason why they struggle is, one, because they've gotten away from maintenance and are all doing reactive repair, or number 2, they drank the same Kool-Aid that the OE has been feeding them, that these cars don't need any maintenance. And that is the truth. So my question is, What are we going to do? How do we know if that person standing in front of you is the original owner? All you got to do is just ask. So when you get that new customer, don't assume that the mileage 36, 40,000, that they're the original owner. You need to ask a simple question. Gene, can I ask you a quick question? Are you the original owner on this vehicle? Oh, Mikey B, no, I'm not. I just purchased it. It was a lease return. Boom, bells are going off in my head. So what I need to do now, I need to stop. I need to slow down. And I need to sit. I need to educate Mr. Gene Morrell on the services that were not performed on that car. And now what Mr. Gene Morrell needs to do to get caught up. So we're going to figure a plan. We're going to put together a plan for him. He doesn't have to do it all today. We can knock this out over the next 3 visits. Now, as a service manager and as an advisor, I've always tried to space and spread out my customers' dollars. I don't want to hit them with a $700 bill. They'll never come back. I want to retain that customer. So I want to give that list, Gene, just like you told me. Now you have your customers. You've planted the seeds. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we're all farmers. This is what we do. We plant the seed for the next visit. And then if we work it right, if we work the soil, we nurture it, we'll reap the harvest. I mean, this is a passage right out of the Bible. Reap what you sow. And if you do a good job, it'll be plentiful. I'll pass around a dish as soon as I'm done. I need a new hairdresser. The one I have is just not working. All right. So very quickly, I want to take you where we were yesterday, where we are today. Obviously, cars have changed. Now, the station wagon that you see from the 70s, that was called the Chick Magnet. That was the only car we had. My dad said, you either take that or you walk. So I was like, no, that's cool. I really like this car. I hated it, but it's the only thing I had. But if you look at where we were yesterday or today, these are industry trends, okay? 24 months to 72 months. Now your car payments are going to 8 and 10-year car notes. This is good because that means people are going to keep their cars longer. But in order for them to last 8, 10, 15, 20 years, they got to do maintenance. If they do exactly what the factory says, this car is going to grenade. Now, which really is an oxymoron to me with the car manufacturer, because all they preach is retention, 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 retention. Well, I got to tell you something. Honda and Kia figured that out a long time ago. When they built a really poor vehicle, car sales plummeted. So they knew they had to do something. So they did. They re-engineered it. But nobody came to market to buy the car because the reputation superseded itself. Honda and Kias are junk. Don't buy that car. But they got smart. They ended up slapping a 10-100 bumper-to-bumper factory warranty. So everybody said, including yours truly, well, dude, I can't miss. If this thing breaks down, I just take it into the dealer. For the next 10 years, 100,000 miles, I'm scot-free. Well, their sales went back up. And this was exactly when 07 and 08 hit. And then what happened was GM, Ford, Chrysler, they all followed suit. If you look at Toyota, when cars were taking off and accelerating and crashing, people dying, it killed them. They were the Titanic. But as far as I know, they're still building brand new Toyota Palaces. So apparently they're still in business. How did they do it? Brilliant marketing. They were the ones that offered the customers 2 years of free maintenance. Now, if you look at the fine print on all the Toyota ads, it's only 2 years or 25,000 miles. I don't know about you guys. I average 15,000 a year. So that comes out to 30. Here's where I really want you folks to listen to me. The OE is actually doing you folks a big favor. They are literally pushing the customer out of the dealer into your open waiting arms. And you got to be prepared because it's here and it's happening. You got the lease customer coming in. But now this customer with the free paid maintenance, they're only concerned about that car within the warranty period. The very next service that customer has got to pay, customer pay, is the 30K, which is the first major service. So Joseph, you haven't paid for service at all. Everything's been on the dime of the OE. Every oil service, every rotate, because that's all that needs to be done. Well, it's been for free. And now you come in, no more factory paid maintenance. And now your advisor says, well, Joseph, you're here for your first major service. That's going to be $685. We got to flush the entire car out. Even the headlight fluid needs to be changed, and that blinker fluid's got to go. And you're like, wait a minute. I gotta what? What do you think that customer's going to do? Bye-bye. They're out of there. They're down the road motors, and now they're waiting. They're coming into your open arms. Because the fallacy is, I'll go to the independent because they're cheaper. Well, we all know you're not. You're doing the same quality work. I got a sidebar a second. I'm getting into the head of the customer. I just had this great conversation tonight over at Country Motor Works, and I said to them, even your regular customers, there's still that little bit of doubt because of who we are in this industry. There's been bad blood spilled because of bad practices by bad shops and bad people. And we all have the black eye, but they still question, am I still going to get the quality of work that I know I'm going to get from a factory trained technician? Believe it or not, folks, it is in the back of their mind. We need to reassure them that the quality of work that we do is just as good, if not better, than it is at the dealership. We see an influx of technicians coming into the independent market because they're so fed up with the dealer world. So keep your eyes open for that. Okay, if you want a little bit of a sidebar tidbit, if you're looking for techs, I want you to go to the eatery places right around that dealership. Where do you think the techs are going to sit and eat? Why not have a conversation? Hey, Dr. Motorsport, I know you're a tech over at that Hyundai dealership. You know, I got my own place over here. Tell you what, here's my cart. When you get fed up over in the dealer world, why don't you come and talk to me? There is no law that says you can't do that, okay? Because they are fed up. All right. Here's the other thing I want to give to you. You know, the OE is just giving you guys, this is Christmas. It is Christmas. I don't know if you heard the buzz, but we at BG at the corporate level, I'm in direct communication with the factory. We talk with them all the time, even though they don't like snake oil. Believe it or not, they like us because we actually help them out of some difficult situations. And you'll even find some of the services you're selling on technical service bulletins, taking care of a broken car for free by our product. So they talk to us. Well, they went from 560 to 10100. They're back to 560 powertrain, the big three, Ford, GM, and Chrysler. They, right after the first of the year, are going to drop this back to 336. Happy birthday. But again, if you don't know and you're not aware, you can't prepare for it. I want you to prepare for this customer because the minute that warranty drops, they are so out of that dealership, their retention goes right in the toilet. So folks, you got to be expecting it's coming. The lease customer, the customer that's now having their warranty drop. This is a bad pill to swallow for customers that are going to be right in the middle of a model year where they're at 560 and get slashed at 336. When I was with Chevy, we went from 560 to 5100 and they dropped it back to 560, right in the middle of a model year. How unethical can that possibly be? But we appreciate that on the independent market because they're blowing off their customer. Okay, we've gone from oil services. You notice I didn't say oil changes. Get rid of that word. Get rid of oil changes. We don't do oil changes no more. These are oil services, okay? We used to do them every 3. Now we're doing them at 7,500. You're getting customers that they're changing oil every 10. I don't know how many you've seen that are GDI. that don't have any oil in the dipstick, correct? We've seen that. You're seeing a lot of oil consumption issues because the sludge is building up on these gas direct inject engines. It's causing the rings to stick. I'm going to give you a real quick teaser. If you want to start changing and moving that couch starting tomorrow morning, I will challenge each and every one of you to challenge your customers to pull that dipstick and smell it or light it with a lighter. Because if there is fuel that is leaked down past those rings into the oil, that oil is contaminated. And you will find it by smelling the dipstick or lighting it with a lighter. That is your perfect service to do a crankcase service. Whether you're using BG or not, you better find something that's going to go in, that's going to clean those rings. And that is a legitimate service. I got to give you a quick story. I was in Kentucky a couple of months back. I'm at a Chevy store. The service manager said, Mikey, we're not here to flush out a customer's wallet. I said, thank you. We want customers like you because you're representing my product. We don't want you doing that. We want you to do this honorably and ethically. I said, but I noticed you've got our EPR, our crankcase cleaning kits on the shelf, and they got probably about an inch of dust. He goes, yeah, we really don't find a need for those because, you know, in the 8 months we have the program, we haven't seen an issue. Well, right away alarms are going off, and I know for a fact that they have oil consumption issues. GM has got a major issue. But my brothers and sisters, you don't know what you don't know, so you'll always get a pass from me. But here's the thing. The thing is this. The thing is, if you didn't know enough to check, well then how is it your fault? But if you know you got to check and you still don't check, that's unethical. That's the underselling I was just talking about. Knowing what you know and we still don't do it, that's a problem. But what we did was I said, would you be okay if I worked your lube rack? And he said, sure. I said, well, here's the deal. I worked the lube rack for better more than a half a day. Out of, I think it was like 38 cars, I lit 8 dipsticks on fire. Now the lube tech was a smoker. So I got his cigarette lighter and I lit it. And he's looking at me like I'm a numbnut. He's running around the shop telling everybody I'm crazy. And I said, well, if there wasn't fuel on that dipstick, then how would you know that the rings are sticking? Folks, out of those 8 customers, we sold 2 services, 2 legitimate services, honorably and ethically. That's 2 more than they sold in the 8 months that they had the program. And when we were done, that service manager came up to me and he said, Mikey, I gotta thank you. I gotta thank you. He said, I'm embarrassed. I said, you get a one-time pass. You don't know what you don't know. I said, but after today, you don't get a pass. Because that may be my wife's car that comes in your shop. And if you don't check it, shame on you. I'm sorry, I'm looking at these chats and it's, okay, interesting. All right, so that's where we are. So gentlemen, that's your tidbit. So tomorrow morning, every customer, every time. Say it with me. Every customer, every time. We're gonna check that oil dipstick. It's gotta happen. And if your technicians come up to you and they say, all right, this is what I found, and you ask them, what did that oil smell like? And they said, I don't know. You're gonna hold them accountable. You're gonna tell them to go back there and tell them to smell that dipstick. Now, if I could do that in front of the customer like I used to on the service drive, I used to do it with a transmission dipstick. I'd smell it. If it was burnt, I got it right underneath the customer's nose. But then I'd also check the history because you can't just sell according to smell. We all know that according to Barr. All right, so there's your tidbit for the next one. Now, the reason why they do this, they pushed it out to keep the cost of ownership down. That is a main reason. It is a mathematical equation. We went from 3,000 mile oil changes to 10. I see my customers once a year. That is ridiculous. We've all keep them now at 5K, but it's for a low cost of ownership. All right, I want to get into this really quickly, and if you want, get a piece of paper and a pad. I'm going to ask you to change your vocabulary. All right? So just bear with me. Keep an open mind. Share this with your crew. Number one, instead of using the term I think, in my opinion, is what I think you should do, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and what I would do, I'm going to ask you to use the term industry standards. Because, folks, no offense, most of you I'm just meeting for the first time. If I were to bring my car into you and you say, well, Mikey B, I think you should do this, and what I would do, well, no offense, I just met you. We've not established a relationship, which means there really isn't a real buildup of trust or credibility. But when you use the term, you know what, Mikey B, what we see in the industry, now all of a sudden I'm going, wow, okay, that's a family. You all talk together, just like you do at the chapter. You know, maybe somebody will say something tonight from another shop. You're going to go, wow, I never thought of that. It's an industry. We're all together as a family. So try thinking of using that in its place. Normal driving only happens at the test track. Or in Euphoria, where there's unicorns and fairies and leprechauns and ponies, it doesn't exist. Remember, they're in business to sell cars and parts. Every owner's manual recommends under normal driving conditions. Every time you go on All Data, Mitchell On Demand, where are they getting their information? From the OE. And the OE is going to recommend bare bones, nothing to keep the cost of ownership down. Be very careful. The industry says today, severe is now the new normal. So the easiest way I can tell my young advisors that get confused, take whatever the OE says. Let me give you an example. Ford says on a Ford F-150 to change the tranny fluid at a 100,000 mile interval. That is considered normal driving conditions. Now, folks, I told you I travel 42 weeks. I'm all over the US. I'm all over Canada. Newfoundland is awesome this time of year. China, I've nowhere else other than the test track have I experienced normal driving. So that 100,000 miles on that tranny fluid is not going to fly in today's standards. So I tell them, to make it easier on yourself, take that 100 and immediately cut it in half and use that as your gauge. And that'll help you determine whether or not this customer's transmission needs to be serviced at 70 or at 45, depending on how they use the vehicle. If it's a work truck and they're towing and they're buying and submerging it in water when they launch their boat, I'm going to do it a little bit earlier than 50. But if it's somebody that's just joyriding, yeah, 70, 75. But you got to remember, look at LA traffic. That tranny is shifting. Now we got temperature gauges in the dash for transmission fluid. Now it says at 175 degrees, you should get 100,000 miles of protection, but that's on a full synthetic. For every 20-degree increase, the fluid life oxidizes by 50%. The average spiking temperature in a transmission is 212 degrees. Now, I drove from LA to Yuma, Arizona, and if you've never been to Yuma, it's the last exit before the next exit says hell, because that's hot as hell there. I'm driving nonstop, cruise control, 80 miles an hour. My tranny temperature was at 216 degrees in one gear. So what does that tell you? Trannies are getting hot. Now, if you're doing trannies, you've got to do a drive line. They both work together. You don't do one without the other. Okay, I'm getting a little bit deeper than what I wanted to, but that's going to be for a January class. All right, so severe. Here's another one. Get rid of the word cost. Eliminate it from your vocabulary. It's an investment. Even, and I will show this in January, Nissan's handbook, their opening statement says, preventive maintenance is an important investment to optimize the reliability, durability, and the resale value of the car. So whenever a customer is spending money on their car, they're reinvesting it in their car to hold resale value. So it's not a cost. A cost is a super negative. The minute we say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, well, that's going to cost you, and right away they're shivering and shriveling up. So eliminate the word cost. Additive, get rid of it. Yeah, you heard it from Mikey B, the BG guy. They are treatments and or supplements. Additives, I don't know anybody that's gotten an additive. Let me see if we can relate to this. You talk to any women out there, before COVID, they were all going to the hair salon to get a hair treatment. They weren't getting a hair additive. Now, all of us, especially all of us older guys, all the pizza, which we had tonight, I did though I have a lean cuisine tonight, so I did eat a little healthy, but we don't eat healthy. So our bodies require a certain amount, but our intake is not that good. So if you had a donut today, I don't think there was a lot of vitamin C or zinc or D or B12. So that means your body is having a vitamin deficiency. So what do you take? You end up taking a vitamin supplement. The reason why I'm asking you to change your verbiage, these are words that the customer uses and hears every day. It starts to set off an alarm where they can relate to. The words cost, additive, are negative. But when you tell a customer, we'll be putting a treatment in your car today or giving your fuel a supplement, just tell them, if you believe in vitamins, well, these supplements are the vitamins for your car. They are the vitamin supplement for today's engines and today's technology, because the fluids are not getting it. We all know the word flush, get rid of it. Okay, we all know the Bureau of Automotive Repair. Boy, they come with an unmarked car, you're gonna get dinged. So, by the way, this is my portion of staying bar compliant in the state of California. So I've agreed with them that I have to. I have to. We all got to stay good. We got to stay good with the bar. The word flush, I tell everybody, if you got people still saying that, I want you to get a coffee can. I want you to tape the word flush. And every time they say it, they need to put $1 in that flush bucket. Just tell them we flush toilets, not cars. End of story. Get rid of the word recommend. That's another one of those, uh-oh, here it comes. Uh-oh, should I be sitting down, Gene? You're recommending something. That means whenever you recommend something, my wallet starts to hurt. VJ, what are you recommending me now? Every time I come in, you're recommending something, right? No, we advise. Isn't that our title? We're service advisors. We're service consultants. We're not service recommenders. So understand that verbiage is a very important part. I call sludge cholesterol. I just tell people, you know what? You keep going past your oil services. Now you got to build up a mud in there. You got a bad case of cholesterol. And not only that, but that's going to lead to arthritis. If we don't get you on a routine maintenance schedule, you're going to have major cholesterol problems and really bad arthritis. Customers going to go, oh, no, what do we do? What do we do? Because they understand. But when we tell them, oh, you've got sludge and lubrication, they don't get it. We need to hit them with the words that they understand in everyday language that they can make the connection. Yeah, we're not doctors, but we understand cholesterol, right? It's because of the food that we eat that we got to take vitamin supplements and cholesterol medication. And then we got to take Tums for our tummy because of the acid reflux. Look, our bodies are just like cars. All right. I touched on this before. We're talking about Customers' Bill of Rights. If you do not have it, I cannot urge you anymore to tell you to go online. It's right here. The Magnuson Moss Warranty Repair Act. Go online, pull it up. It's backed by the Federal Trades Commission. Print it, highlight some areas, and stick it in your office. This is a piece right here that I highlight every time. Says, do I have to use the dealer for repairs, maintenance to keep my warranty in effect? The answer is no, and it should be, oh, hell no. When you purchase a car, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, you agreed to properly maintain your vehicle to stay within good standing of the manufacturer. That's all you agreed to. Because as an ex-service manager, I cannot void out your warranty if you did your maintenance, but you didn't bring it into my store. If there's a Napa or a Fram oil filter, I cannot void the warranty out. However, if you did not maintain it, I was given the absolute right, like every service manager, to be able to void out a customer's warranty due to gross negligence. And that's the only time I could do that. So again, if they didn't have any receipts on doing anything, boom, I could stamp it. But if they came in with receipts from any one of your shops, no, I could not void out the warranty. I had to bite the bullet and I had to take care of it. So it is backed by the Magnuson-Moss Act. Okay, here we go. Repair shop or maintenance shop? What we have found and what I have found in all my years in this automotive field, and when I was a BG rep for the Los Angeles area, and some of you were my customers, and I was lucky enough to find a gem in Abe Chavera. He actually worked at the 76 station in Sierra Madre. I'm not going to mention which store. But I brought Abe on, and Abe worked with me on my team. And Abe, if you're listening, I love you, brother. You are the best thing for our customers, man, because your customer support and your friendship and your loyalty is just outstanding. I thank you for the applause. Yes. And Joe Perez, my little brother, my hat's off to you. You did not have to be here tonight, but because you guys are here, that shows you care. And I love it. That's right, man. Dr. Motorsport. Thank you, brother. But what I found that the labor mix that you guys are usually seeing is usually about a 7:30 labor mix. That's that's being your repair to your maintenance. That is 70% reactive because you're only going to fix a car broken when a customer brings it in. That 30% maintenance, you're trying to be proactive as possible. But folks, again, I'm going to get into this deeper in January, but I just wanted to hit you with this. Out of that 30% that you call maintenance, I want you to think about this right now. How much of that is just oil changes and rotates? I would imagine a good portion of that if you are not on a maintenance program. And if you're not on a maintenance program, yeah, I'm going to solicitize right now. You need to get a hold of us, PG guys. We will put a program together for you. The support is there. Get a hold of your other members. They'll tell you whether we're good, bad, or indifferent. Or it doesn't matter who it is. Just get a maintenance program, okay? Really, really helps your customers. So really need to ask yourselves, really, where is your maintenance program, okay? And that's something we need to look at. Again, this is the best time to be looking at it right now. Now we got to measure. I want you to take one of your services, okay? Regardless of who you're using. I want you to pick, let's say, your fuel service, okay? Pick your fuel service, whether you're using anybody or not. And I want you to check out the penetration rate. Now I'm going to give you that formula in a second. Now, 40% is great. 30% is really good. 20%, if you are at less than 20% or single digits, your program is not working. That means you are completely reactive and not proactive. That means a customer is running your shop. And right now and today, that is borderline suicide. You're not going to go to the next level. Now, here's the formula. This is how you figure it out. It's the number of those fuel services sold by the number of cars you took in within that month. And it's simple math. Out of X amount of cars, how many services did we sell? Now, if you want to look at your transmission or whatever you want to look at, pick one service and just focus on that. And that will tell you. Now, I base this out of 100 cars. Out of 100 cars, how many of that one service could those customers have purchased legitimately? Okay, so 275 services sold. This was a dealership, almost 1,000 CPs. You do the math, that's 28% penetration. Now, excuse me, it says BG numbers. It's a BG program. But again, if you're not using us, that's okay. We'd like to change that. But it doesn't matter. I want you to do the math so you can see legitimately where you are. I don't want to do the math for you. You need to do it because you're going to be honest with yourself. Now, I took a service, and this was an actual store. It was an independent. I think it was in Florida. And we were looking at his services. And it says right here, their customer pay count. They wrote up 225 cars that month. Their door rate, 95. They had an average tech wage. Of course, the parts markup, they doubled it. We took our fuel kit at cost, then the retail. And you can see in the green area our suggested retail. So it showed them in that parts to labor or just labor. Well, if you look at the very upper right-hand corner, they sold 8 fuel services that month. So they netted $897. That's in the pocket, $897. They're at 3.5%. If you look at the very bottom of the page, the goal is 15%. That means out of 100 cars, could you have done 15? Now, I got to be honest with you. I think my numbers are extremely conservative, but I want you to look at the numbers. Look at the money that was left on the table. Now, this is an actual store. At 15%, they would have netted over $3,700 directly to the bottom line. They're not even on the radar. At 3.5%, they're not even breathing. So this was a shop that didn't believe in gouging the customer. Remember one of my opening slides. I said underselling is just as unethical as overselling. We need to slow down. We really need to slow down. We end up putting a process in place because I couldn't get all the technicians on board. And I said for 30 days, I want you to absolutely inspect every throttle area. I want you to pull the boot. I want you to open up that throttle plate, and I want you to tell me if there's carbon or not. If there's carbon, I want you to write it on a piece of paper. And at the end of the month, I want you to tally it. And then I want you to divide it in half, because that would have been the amount that you could have sold a legitimate service. Because let's face it, you're not going to sell every single customer. But I wanted them to see the math. And I wanted them to actually see it because they weren't inspecting it. Well, I got a phone call about a month and a half after that from the rep. Their fuel sales had gone through the ceilings because they started to do a visual inspection. But you know, the moral of the story is they had to see it for themselves. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. You know, one thing that we stress at BG, we will never, and I mean never, force anybody into doing something that you do not feel comfortable with. However, you need to check it. If you're not checking, then that's unethical. Do something. Don't take our word for it. But we've got to be able to do due diligence. We have to. It's the moral thing to do. Okay, so now what? Well, now what is, wait till January. Because then we're going to really get into, we're going to get into what do we do? Where do we go from here? And I'm really excited, and I cannot wait to meet with everybody. And January, I was talking to Gene and Tim and everybody. I think this is the perfect time. It couldn't have come at a better time with COVID and going into a new year. And I pray to the dear Lord that I know we're going to get through this. We're going to be different. It's going to change. We're not going to go back to the way we were. Things happen for a reason, good, bad, or indifferent. But I'm a firm believer that we're all going to get through this and we're going to be better for it. So I think this is a perfect time, folks. And I can't wait to meet with you all in January. And we can get your businesses out and rocketing. So I want to thank all of you for your time. And thank you for those of you that are our customers. We pray for you all. And we just thank you for what you have done for our families. And I always get choked up when I say that, but you do. I mean, you people put food on my table. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So turn it over to you guys. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Kirk, back to you.
Hey, Kirk, before you go, I just wanted to let you know we are planning on putting a class on, a Saturday class in the middle of January. Don't know what it's going to look like, and it's probably going to be quick, down and dirty, location and all of that. So I'm counting on all of you to help us spread the word. And we want to get, some folks there. We may have to social distance. Jim Ward has offered his shop, which is wide open. So it would be a great location to, we may have to limit it to 20 or 30. I don't know, but maybe we can set up a Zoom and do a Zoom as well. So a lot of things are going to be happening fast and furious. So keep an eye out on your emails, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Anybody, if you've ever heard Mike speak in person, he has so much energy that draws from you. It's just different than being on Zoom, Mike. So if you've never seen him in person, you got to do it. He's just phenomenal in person.
All I know is I owned that station wagon. I wish I wouldn't have sold it.
Joseph, how'd you like to give away some money?
Yeah, let's do that. Here, I've got our raffle barrel here, or cage. We're going to draw 4 numbers. And if you're a chapter member and you've been here for the whole meeting, which all of you have, and your number is drawn, you'll get a choice of $50 cash, which means check, or $100 off of your chapter dues. Now, if out of these 4 numbers, no one is here, well, first of all, shame on them. But secondly, we'll keep drawing until we get a winner. So let's see. The first number I've got here is Nishikawa's Auto Service. Not here. Uh-oh. The second number is?
Don't forget to let them know they missed it.
John, you're the second number. Accurate Auto Works.
Oh, thank you.
We'll let you know you missed it, John. Hang on real quick.
Hey, so my wife is right here, Joseph. She says she wants you to hand deliver a check.
Oh, I can do that. You're close enough.
Hey, John.
All right.
Make them to you.
Tim, you're going to have to tell Abraham that he was the next number. Pasadena Auto Repair. And the fourth one is Spence and Fry, another Pasadena shop that's not here. All right, we'll just have to let them know. So we did have a winner. That's great. So John,
didn't John win the last time he was on the meeting?
No,
the time before that.
He was drawn, but he wasn't here too. All right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Kirk, back to you.
Okay. Anybody have any more to say?
Hey, Kirk, I kind of want to open it up to Mikey. I don't know if we want to touch upon the protection plan. That's been a really benefit to our shop. For those of you that are using BG products, each one of the BG products, it does have a limited criteria I believe the new one as of October of 2020 is under 75,000 miles. If the vehicle that you're servicing has under 75,000 miles and you've used the service, you've actually learned how to use the service through bg.com. I put the link on the chat over there. So if you know how to get to the chat, go to the link. It talks about a bunch of the services. You can log in as a shop. You can learn how to use the BG services. You can purchase the equipment. It's a really good investment, not only for the shop, but also for the customers. But we had one just today. We had a Z3, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but the customer had used the coolant service under 50,000 miles and had returned back with the coolant light on. And what was leaking was the water pump. And no joke, under 15 minutes, I was showing my service advisor how to go to courtesyclaims.com, fill out all the information, load the previous invoice, the estimate that you have, and any documentation or photos that's supported off your DVI. If you use a DVI, it's like 5 minutes. And by the time we were talking about the process, bling, here comes the authorization from one of the representatives on the other side. And they approved the cost of the labor and the water pump to be replaced on that vehicle. So if you're not using it, you really need to take advantage of it because, I mean, it's the other half of BG. And if you're using the EPR service, they cover things like turbos. They cover things like the PCV valve, oxygen sensors, fuel injectors. And if you're not doing your BG fuel injection services or the induction services, believe you me, if you got a GDI motor, you're going to clog up a fuel injector. You're going to have fuel injector problems. So that's my 2 cents on it. For those of you that get into the business side of it and read the fine print, thanks, Gene, for keeping me honest and accountable for that. I appreciate you. You got to really look into the other half of it because that's a benefit to the customers. And once your customer says, oh my God, I don't have to pay for the $1,500 water pump on my BMW. And you're like, nope, what we got paid from BG Parts and Labor, they will buy the service, whatever service you tell them every single time. Trust me on that. And I've banged my head around and not listened, but as soon as I moved that couch and it looked a lot better in that corner and implemented it, I started making a lot more money. And not just from the protection plan, but actually from the maintenance side of things. So those of you that are still fixing the cars, maintain them. It pays a lot better.
Tim, are you open on Saturdays?
Hell no.
No, no, because I want to come and see your shop one more day.
Hey, if you want to come on a Saturday, I'm totally open, Ollie. On Saturday, we can come in and kind of see, you know, how we did it. Well, I honestly followed Mike's program. I followed the BG program. Look into the maintenance. Once you get maintenance in your shop, it's easier to sell the repairs because then you can say, hey, you know why this broke? Because you didn't maintain it.
Yeah, sure. One Saturday you open, just let me know. I'm going to come that Saturday.
Definitely. Contact me, hit me up. I will definitely put that together. We've done it with other shops, and I think this is the beauty part of our association.
And also I want to see
being able to bring
bolt-on.
the owners together and visit the shops and being able to see that. And Esteban, we've been talking about, I've been wanting to come out to your shop and check out your program as well. I've opened my doors. Anybody that wants to come kind of see what we've implemented, I've got a lot of my teachings from other shops. Wendy, you've been a good contributing factor as to what I want to see from technicians and students. It's a lot easier to teach that to young kids and say, hey, this is what the expectation is, than to kind of just go, hey, however you did it at your last shop, because that's what sucked. That's why you're here at mine.
All right, thank you.
Esteban, go ahead.
Could I say something? All right. So first of all, thank you for the presentation. It was pretty awesome. I just had a quick question on the maintenance program. So the way I got into BG, I kind of, being a part of ASCCA, I kind of found, you know, I learned about it. I was, I basically reached out to the sales guy that he, the one that services us. But right now you're bringing a lot of great information that I really don't have. So what's I just wanted a little more information on the maintenance program and how I could get more information on that. BG has been great to our business. It's a phenomenal product, and I get this presentation was eye-opening for sure. So I can't wait to find out more about it.
Mikey, you're going to have information on that. You want to answer some of his questions?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for teeing that up for me. You know what? If we could share my screen one more time, I think just a quick couple of minutes on that protection plan, because there's some legalities to it that I want to make sure that everybody is clear on. Let me pull this up. Okay, so as far as the protection plan, come on. Sorry, let me go back to this. All right, there we go. Okay, I want to make sure, and I'm going to ask everybody that is with us on the protection plan, I'm going to ask you to write this down. I want you to draw a line down through the center part of your paper. And on one side, I want you to put extended warranty, and on the other side, protection plan. This is going to keep you out of hot water with the Bureau of Automotive Repair, because they're right if they catch you on this. You cannot call this an extended warranty. And I'm hearing this everywhere. Like, oh yeah, the BG extended warranty. It is not an extended warranty. So let me give you the differences that's going to keep this clear for you. Number one, extended warranties are purchased. This is free. Number two, extended warranties have a deductible. This doesn't have a deductible. Number three, extended warranties are based on term limits. That means it is based on a time and or mileage, and then it expires, it goes away. This is lifetime. As long as that customer continues with the services, we'll cover this for the life of the car. And then finally, there is no contract. So there's no fee for transferring of ownership. Now, an extended warranty, it could be $100, $250 because it's on the person. This is free because it's on the vehicle. So it doesn't matter who's got the vehicle. It goes, or who owns the car, because the protection plan is on the vehicle itself. And then again, through the transfers fees. So that is the difference between an extended warranty and a protection plan. So you need to make sure that you stay compliant, that when you're using us or another company that has a protection plan, again, do not call it an extended warranty. You'll get in trouble. Okay, if you got your phones out, here's a plan. Just take a picture of this. So, because there's a lot of confusion because it's so simple, but this is the plan right here. You start the customer before 50, that system falls under plan 1. And as long as you keep the services going, they will stay on plan 1 for the life of the car. Now, coverages for transmission is only 2. Under plan 2, yes, we did shorten it from 100 back to 75. Now, let me explain to you why. We did a big study, and we had found that it wasn't just us, but we had found that customers in general throughout the country and Canada were only coming in for one service. So between 75 and 100, they weren't coming back in to repeat the service. So it was kind of a loss for all of us, but we had found that more bang for your buck and for our buck, that we got more traction between the 50 and the 75 than we did between the 50 and 100, because it used to be 75. So that's why we rolled it back. Now, another reason is this. We were paying for the repairs for those one-time service customers. So the return on investment, and I'm just being brutally honest with you, it was a business decision. We really didn't see any return on our investment, which means you really didn't see that return on your investment. The other thing is we went back and we dropped the money coverage on transmissions. And the reason why we did that was we busted quite a few people for fraud. What we found at the dealership level was that they were hitting us up for the 4,000 or the 2,000 on the transmissions, and then they were going after their manufacturer. So they were double dipping. And quite frankly, family to family, it cost us. It cost us big. So we had to roll it back. It's unfortunate, but because of a couple of bad players that wanted to abuse the system, we had to shut some doors. You know, one thing about my family, they got big hearts. They really do. And we knew they had to shut some of these doors. And unfortunately, you know, we got dinged, but we had to shut the doors. However, I want you to notice we did increase the gross vehicle weight. So if you want to go after those fleet customers, you know, I'm not talking municipalities, but I'm talking Joe's Plumbing that's got 5 plumbing trucks. Okay, well, they got pipe laying on that van. So they're going to far surpass that 9,500 GVW. So we've increased it to 14,000 to open up the doors for you folks to be able to go after that fleet business. Now, having said that, if you do want to go after that business, I want you to set the meeting, but bring your BG rep in so they can pitch the program, because you're not going to be as well versed as my brothers would be on this program. So I don't want you being in a meeting with a potential customer and getting asked a question, and then you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. I'm going to ask you to open up the meeting, bring in your BG rep in, and let them pitch the program. We've been opening up so much fleet business for our customers, primarily because of this. It's not even funny, because your fleet customer is so geared for maintenance. It's not even funny, because they don't want their vehicle that they're making money off of, they don't want it broken down on the side of the road, because it's cost effective. So, and knowing that they're so preventive maintenance oriented that if a repair does come into play, we're going to take care of it. So that's huge. That is huge. Maybe that's one of your things that you guys shoot for 2021. Finally, I'm going to ask you to take another picture. Here are your service interval sequence. The plan is that easy. As long as you get MOA within every oil change within 10,000 miles, the customer now has what we call engines for life. And I got a lot of distributors across the country call it that, engines for life. On the fuel side, because of our fuel issues, we've had to drop it from 30 to 15. I'm going to get deeper into that come January. Okay, so once you perform that service, it's got to be repeated every 15, because we're seeing an abundance amount of ethanol issues out here. Not so much in California, because we are a federally regulated top tier state. Here in North Dakota, I just measured 23%. There was so much water in their fuel because they just went to their winter blend, and they always increase ethanol when they change from summer to winter blend. So I just measured 23%. You should have seen the water. It was ridiculous. All the other services, once you perform it, got to repeat every 30. And that, my friends, seriously, that's the protection plan. Now, VG, I know you're vigilant with your customers about it.
Well, Mikey B was my first rep. That's going back to 2001, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So they didn't even have the protection plan back then. So it's all started a few years after that. We can say we have well over 100 claims, and most of them are very simple, easy, gone through. I do have to mention, because we found that out, because I have not just pretty much all of my customers are on BG programs. So there's only one claim, you can only make one claim in a 2-year period on each component. So just be aware of that. So if you did a water pump on a customer's car, and 6 months later, you cannot make a claim again for a radiator. So just be aware of that. Other than that, Everything else is great. Usually it's never a problem. In the original contract stated that we have to, as long as you did a service again, it covered it. They took that off the contract down the road. I'm not sure. Been talking to Abe about that. But other than that, it's been a great product, and it's a best customer retention tool, I think, I feel that we have in our shop. So, thank you.
Hey, Jay, I'm going to agree with you on the customer retention. I've had multiple customers actually follow up and say, I don't want to lose my protection plan. And I agree with you, Mike. It's very important that it's explained correctly, because not only that, but the customer actually earns your respect more because of the amount of technical knowledge you now bring to the table as far as explaining what their vehicle needs, how important it is for them as car owners to be accountable. Because they're going to hold you accountable as a shop owner, but you need to hold them accountable as a consumer and the car owner as to what you need to do on a regular basis in order to keep this machine that you own, you drive, you maintain, you pay for, functioning properly. And yeah, we're the right shop for you, but here's the things that we need to do. And I think BJ's does that. I know I have my RV service with BJ, and like I got a text message just like our services. I was like, what? Oh shit, it is time for my RV to be serviced. So I appreciate you, BJ. I got to call you next week, by the way.
You got it.
All right. Well, it got quiet for a moment there, so maybe it's time for us to wrap this up.
Hey, can I ask John
It's time.
Epstein to put in a couple of words? I know Johnny joined us a little bit late. Appreciate you being here. We were talking about the donation, about the educational foundation. If you'd like to take a moment to kind of talk about that, you had a really beautiful way to transition when customers are finished with their vehicles and how they can transition that to scholarships that can actually benefit our students in the colleges.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Hope everybody is doing well. So a couple things with the Educational Foundation. For those of you that didn't know, Dick DeLoach recently passed away. He was a writer for Parts and People. And he was on the Educational Foundation. He was a trustee. So we've actually started a scholarship, the Dick DeLoach Memorial Scholarship. And at Team Weekend, we raised about $3,000 to put into that. We're hoping to raise another $7,000 or so we can make it a functioning scholarship. When we put $10,000 into it, we can pay out $500 a year, until somebody shuts down the foundation, which isn't going to happen for a really long time. So, it's a real nice thing. So if you guys knew Dick and you wanted to do something for him, that would be a great way to, show some support, at this time. But yeah, getting back to the vehicle donation part, when, you're standing at the counter, either you or your service advisors, and, you tell your customer that, hey, you need a transmission or you need an engine, or you just need a bunch of repairs, tires, brakes, whatever, and the customer doesn't want to fix it. And they say, well, I'm not going to fix it. I'm going to figure out, what I'm going to do, but I'm going to get rid of the car. It's a great time where you can offer them some options. Option number one, sure, you can trade it in. Option number two, you can try to sell it through Craigslist or some other way. Option three, you can donate your vehicle. And if you'd like help with that, I can help you with that. And some customers are going to want to trade it in. Some customers are going to want to sell it. But some customers want no part of trying to deal with getting rid of that car. The last thing they want is to invite somebody over to their house to look at a car, not knowing who they are, and that sort of thing. So you can provide your customers with a great value in helping them get rid of that car that they no longer want. And not everyone will want to do it, but those that do are going to be so grateful. I've ran, long before I joined ASCCA, the Educational Foundation, I ran a donation program for the Boys and Girls Club. So I've probably had 200 customers donate cars over the years. And I've yet to have somebody accuse me of trying to steal their car or talk them out of a good running car or anything like that. Because a lot of people say that, they don't want to offer that because the customer is going to think ill of them. But if you present it that way, you give them options, you tell them you can help them with a donation if they want to go down that route. They're going to be grateful for the fact that they don't have to deal with trying to get rid of it. So again, it's that, customer retention tool that, you guys were just talking about. You solve their problems for them, they'll be back. So, and I'm happy to talk with, if you want to talk a little bit more on this, I'm happy to talk to your service advisors. I'm happy to talk to you. It's an easy process. You go to the Educational Foundation's website, which is asc-ef.org. There's a 1-800 number. You call that 1-800 number. You don't want to fill out the form online because they're just going to call you up and ask you all the information again anyway. So it's easier just to call the 1-800 number. The vehicle gets picked up within a couple of days. It gets transferred out of their customer's name. It eventually gets sold, and then they'll get a letter saying, hey, your vehicle raised X amount of dollars, and that's going to be your tax write-off. So it's a real simple process, and everything is handled. So that's my short version of it. So does anybody have any questions on that? No? All right. Well, like I said, if you do want to talk more later, or you'd like me to talk to your advisors or whoever is talking with your customers, I'm happy to do that. So.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Hey, John, what about you sending out some flyers with your phone number and contact information about that, so that if somebody does have it, we have we have the steps and or the contact information right handy on. We can just pull it out and say, it's right here.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I can work with Tim on that and get it out to you guys. So I saw Gene on here earlier. He's one of our trustees on the Educational Foundation as well. So
Gene's bedtime.
Yeah, right. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'll work with Tim.
Yeah, if you have something that you could email to me, I could send it out to our members as well.
Sure. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, Mikey B decided he had to turn in too, since he's in North Dakota. It's a little bit later there.
Right.
So he wanted me to tell everybody again, thank you. All right.
Thank you, everyone. And we appreciate everyone from the educators side that showed up. Sal, PCC, everybody that puts forth the effort. That, training and educating it almost seems like a thankless job. So those of you that have the patience to do it, hats off to you guys. And we got a lot as shop owners to learn, and these are where the future of our shops are. So thank you for taking the time to
Thank you so much.
future.
Yeah. And to all of you, as we enter the holiday season, have a very meaningful holiday season, and stay healthy.
Thanks, guys.
Have a very Merry Christmas.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Good night.
Merry Christmas.